Welcome to the lecture series of Mobile Computing and Wireless Communication. I am your instructor, Ms. Alpa Rupala. So today we are going to learn about cellular network. So first of all, topics to be covered today is, first of all we will learn about the cellular network, then after cell geometry, then range of antenna, and then generation of computer network. So basically what is cellular network? So we all know that we are having two type of transmission, wired and wireless. So in a cellular network there is not like that all the links should be wireless. If the end point is wireless, then it is enough. So whatever we are having in a cellular network or mobile network, each geometry is called as cells. That means we are distributing our large area into smaller area, and that smaller area are known as cells. So if we can see that particular one antenna, you can see in diagram that one antenna is giving all the nearby location area, all the nearby location area subscribers service. So this single antenna is providing signal to the relevant area of it. So this is what a cellular network concept. So basically in prior days the cellular network was a little bit different. Likewise there were a large geographical area, and on that large geographical area only single tower was established. So what was the disadvantage of having this type of concept? Suppose anyone, any service occupier is at the center of the antenna. At that time, the transmission power which is needed for the receival of the signal must be very reduced. But the transmission power fed to the antenna is very much higher. That is not that much of requirement even though. So the efficiency or transmission power is very much of higher. So we are just not efficiently using the transmission power. We are not developing any of the concept of the power control technique. Okay, and secondly, suppose there is one person and he is at the corner of the that particular rectangle. Okay, a person is at the corner of that rectangle. So we need to feed the transmission power very much higher to reach that corner point. Suppose this single antenna is collapsed, then all the city will be lost for the communication. So it is not having that of robustness, right? We cannot utilize our frequency, available frequency efficiently. So this all fundamental is overcome or settled down by newer concept that is known as the cellular network. So what we are doing, first of all, we are replacing a single high power transmission antenna by smaller antennas, multiple smaller lower transmission power antennas. Obviously if the power is lower, then coverage range will also be lower. So we are dividing our geographical area into smaller parts, and we are setting the towers at the center of each cell. Okay, so this parted geographical area is known as cells, and we are setting at the center of a cell antennas, small, low power, low transmission power antennas. So we can see that here we are also utilizing the frequency. We are reusing the frequency. Likewise, you can see in diagram that there is a red antenna covered and there is a blue antenna covered. So we need to establish a proper plan. Likewise, no antenna, no particular frequency range can have neighboring same frequency range. Like there is a blue antenna, in neighbors there are red antennas. Then after blue antennas. Then after it will be red antenna if the geographical area is more. So ultimately we are reusing our frequency by separating them. Okay, by separating them in a group of frequency. So this is the concept of cellular network, that we are replacing a single high power antenna by the small lower power antennas. What will be the advantage? The interference will be reduced. There will be only local interference. Okay, transmission power will be reduced. If any one antenna is collapsed, then whole city will not be ended up to the no communication. Remaining antennas are stable, so robustness is higher. So these all are the advantages of cellular network. So we are seeing that advantages of cellular network: high capacity, as we have seen, less transmission power, local interference, and robustness. Disadvantage: obviously we need to have a frequency planning, we need to have a proper infrastructure, and we must have planned of the handover mechanism. Now what is handover mechanism, that we will see in our further lectures that of in a GSM topic. Okay, so handover is also required and frequency planning is also required. Now the next topic is cell geometry. What kind of cell geometry there must be for a proper transmission? So that there will be likewise three basic geometry can be possible: equilateral, triangle, or equilateral square, or equilateral regular hexagon. If we are thinking about equilateral triangle, so the triangle will have some of the areas which will not be covered. Okay, then equilateral square, so we can see that some of the area is also not coming. Even though in triangle there is possibility of overlapping of the frequency, in this square there is a possibility of left out region in the particular area. Okay, where no transmission power is getting the bridge. Ultimately, we all know that antenna is a kind of omnidirectional omnidirectional radiation pattern. Okay, so that means one antenna is transmitting in all the directions. So ultimately, the transmission geometry will be of the kind of circle. So we must need to get it that we are if we are establishing the antenna at the center of the cell, then the transmission signal range geometry will be circle. So in a square we have developed this circle, in a triangle also we have developed circle, and that circle is nothing but the transmission range of your antenna. So ultimately, as we have seen, triangle is not useful, square is not useful, then the last option is hexagon. So we can see that in hexagon, the geometry is approximating the circle. So ultimately all the area will be covered, and we can have less number of cells to develop or cover a large number of area in hexagon, and hexagon geometry is very much of easy and manageable. So ultimately we have fixed that the geometry of the cell will be the equilateral hexagon. Now next topic is range of antenna. As I have told you earlier that antenna is having the radiation pattern in a geometry kind of circle. But as the distance increases, the signal strength will reduce or decreases. Okay, so ultimately at the center, from the center of the antenna, we can have multiple ranges. So first range is transmission range, second range is detection range, and third range is interference range. So in transmission range, we can have very less amount of interference, and we are having our signal strength in a very high amount. So ultimately what we are having, this area is a proper full network area. Then after, if we call as a detection range, in detection range the interference will be higher and the signal strength will be lower. So that will be the detection of the signal, but not in that much of strength. And in last, interference range, in this range the signal is not even effective that we can even detect it, but this signal can behave like a noise to any another antenna frequency. So ultimately interference range is having very high volume of noise interference for another antenna signal. So these all are the ranges of the antenna: transmission range, detection range, and interference range. Now next topic is generation of computer communication technology. So according to technology, protocol, service, speed, this all functionality, if we combinedly say that in a previous year we were using the 1G, then after it became 2G with the higher configuration, then after 3G, then after 4G, and ultimately nowadays we are on a road of 5G. So ultimately this is the communication technology, and we will learn this communication technology in detail in next lecture. So we have seen today about cell geometry, what is the cellular network, okay, range of the antenna, and at the last generation of communication technology, which we will learn in a next lecture also. Thank you. We will meet in our next lecture.